The 26th Sprint All-Star Race is in the history books. Welcome, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane on speed, fueled by Sunoco. After 10 of racing's most exciting laps, Kurt Busch has 1 million reasons to smile. Tonight, he was the best of NASCAR's best, and for Kurt, it's his first All-Star win in 9 tries. He hit the wall 2 times, and now Roger Penske has his second All-Star win. After a big day at Indy, Kurt Busch takes the checkered flag, and a lot of celebrating going on. They said 1 million cold ones. They didn't mean Miller Lights. They meant 1 million cold hard dollars, and that's the prize for winning the Sprint All-Star Race, along with a lot of bragging rights and a lot of fun. I'm John Roberts alongside of Kenny Wallace and Kyle Petty, and Kurt Busch really put on a show tonight. Towards the end, he scraped the wall twice, came back, but he never gave up. And guys, now he has a piece of history. He has his first All-Star event win. He'd never won any of these extracurricular activities, only the points races.
I don't think I ever seen Kurt Busch coming. Did you? Did you see Kurt Busch coming? He bounced off the wall 2, 3 times. And Cal, when the time came to go, he was suddenly the fastest race car.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. I want to drive a Penske car if I ever come back and drive. He got hit in the door at Talladega, come back and finished 8th, bounced off the wall 3 or 4 times here, and comes back and win. The last restart is what got him. He was phenomenal on these last two or 3 restarts in the 10-lap segment. I mean, he got plenty of room, got plenty of space, cut across, and I'm going to tell you, he was outside, inside. It didn't make any difference. He had the fastest car the last 2 laps. You see him right here see him right here. I'm lost on where he's at. He's back there right behind that 5 car that spins.
Right in the middle of all the trouble. That's the first restart.
That is Kurt Busch. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 7th in line right there. First restart, he's 7th in line, okay? That's how fast this car was. He could drive outside, inside. We see Denny right here. You know, Kyle's a little upset with this, but Kyle was just going for it. Denny had the space. Kyle ran out of room. The wall's there. What are you going to do?
And don't look now. Here comes the 2 car. Where did he come from? He came out of the blue. His car is blue. Comes from 7th to the lead.
And we were not done wrecking yet, because Kyle Busch gets into the wall, then into the 9 of Casey Kane. And Kyle was awfully disappointed after that, understandably so, but it was the other Busch brother, Kurt Busch, who had the rocket ship on the restarts. We were talking about this a second ago. The restarts were absolutely phenomenal for the 2.
Well, I think everybody learned something. There were so many restarts all night long. How do you do it? Do you brake torque? Do you drag the brake? Get in the gas? And you see the 2 gets a good start. But look behind you. You're looking for Jimmy Johnson to come up there and challenge for the win. But the 11 of Denny Hamlin holds him down, and Denny finishes him off. And he ends up spinning out the 48 car does.
And this is just a solid restart right here. I mean, he jumps on the gas. His car goes forward. The 20 car might have spun his tires a little bit. But what about Truex here? He wins the other race, wins the first race, races his way into this, and comes home, and he's chasing the 2. But I'm going to tell you, that Dodge was on rails, and I don't know what bent or what's broke or what happened to it, and all the times he bounced her off the wall. But it's exactly what it needed to be.
And look at the margin of victory for Kurt Busch. We usually don't see quite that big of a margin of victory. Martin Truex Jr. second, but the guys that are doing the big celebration, the $1 million celebration, and the $1 million donuts as well, is the number 2 team led by Kurt Busch behind the wheel. And so once again, this is the first All-Star victory of any kind for Kurt Busch, and something to really build on this season as the fireworks went on during the last 10 laps, and now they're going on behind the stage as well as Kurt Busch and his number 2 team celebrate. And what a day it was for Roger Penske. All up at Indy, then jumps on the plane, comes down here, sees his blue deuce run into victory lane.
And it doesn't get any better than this. That is his wife. They're drinking beer, baby. It's late at night in Concord, North Carolina. $1 million. I mean, how about that? Let's bust this down. Oh, man, the smoke's everywhere. But it's victory smoke. I love it. Kurt Busch, he wins the first segment. The second segment, he finishes 5th. The third segment, he finishes lucky number 11 and comes from 11th spot to win this baby.
And to go back in time a little bit about how lucky Kurt Busch was, of course, the rained-out qualifying session, he had the #1 draw. That would have been a bad thing had they qualified, but a good thing with it rained out.
Yeah, and we talked to him on race day, and he said, when I drew that first field, I was kind of nervous. The racetrack was going to be dry, or the racetrack was going to be green. I didn't know what to expect. You had to come down pit road. Pit road was going to be dirty. You didn't know what to expect, and all of a sudden it rains, and guess what? My man starts on the pole, and that's where he ends up.
So there's the captain, Roger Penske. Great job by those guys tonight to get the victory here in the 26th running of the Sprint All-Star Race. When we come back, we will have much more as we break down all the segments and the showdown and talk to the big victors.
NASCAR Victory Lane is fueled by Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR. Put the fuel of NASCAR in your car. Brought to you in part by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Welcome back, everyone, to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here, as you see the Blue Deuce celebrating in Victory Lane after the 26th running of the Sprint All-Star Race. Now, as the day began, we knew we were going to eventually have 21 cars entered in the All-Star Race. 18 we knew of, but first we had to get through the showdown and perhaps one of the most competitive fields ever in that showdown, and we had some guys back in there that were hungry to get a win of any kind, but also hungry to get a shot at those $1 million. Let's take a look at the showdown highlights for the Sprint Showdown, which kicked us off today while the sun was still pretty much overhead. They too set the field by virtue of the draw because of the rained out qualifying session. Put David Reagan up front.
The problem we have in this race is we have too many great drivers that are saying, why am I in this race? I am great. Look at this. Here we go. Jeff Burton, I am great. I don't believe I'm in this race. And here comes A.J. Allmendinger on the inside of Max Pappas. But there's the Biff. Stick with the Biff. He's up there running in second. And Kyle Petty, we get one lap under the books.
Yeah, this was a funny thing. Because of this, you see the 13 and the 33 get together right here for no reason. Let me just say that, for no reason whatever. But, because of the rain, you saw these guys, good cars started in the back, cars that weren't as competitive started up front. Not that they're not good cars, not as competitive. And it took a while for these guys, and there was a lot of this 2 and 3 wide and Dyson in the middle of the straightaway, and you thought, my God, something's got to happen at some point.
You have 2 20-lap segments, a total of 40 laps to get to the front, and that's why these guys were impatient and hurrying.
Oh, I love this. Look at the Biff. This is teammates, 2 Roush cars. David Reagan stunning the nation. I mean, he's flying. He's leading early. And the Biff says, hey, I'm the man. Why can't I pass you? But don't look now, because we're getting ready to see some wild stuff happening. Look at Juan Pablo Montoya. He's going crazy. He's like, I am the man of the mountain. I will come after you.
Remember what happened to Juan Pablo Montoya? Had one of the fastest cars in practice, had the pole, got it taken away from him because the rained out qualifying went back to 17.
A lot of frustration, and you see Juan is clear. He thinks he's clear of the 78. He's not clear of the 78 right there. He tries to get back up in line because he's running that high line and cuts straight across the hood of Regan Smith's car. It's what it looks like from this angle. I don't see another angle. This is the only one I've got, so that's what I'm going off of. But that was an ugly wreck right there.
Well, we weren't done wrecking yet. So we see David Gilliland and David Reagan, the 2 Davids bumping and banging.
David Gilliland saying, I may have an underfunded team, but I think I'm big time. He's trying to fight for a second place finish. And look, he finishes the car off. He's too loose, spins out and wrecks.
Had to make a run for the border there. Another look at this one.
Woo, he's all over the place.
In the infield grass, we already had the grass getting torn up.
And a lot of guys did a great job of dodging right there. What were you going to say about the deck lid?
Look at the great tethers.
Yeah, I know.
Years ago, that deck lid would have went to grandstand.
Yeah, it would have. That was amazing.
Here's the restart. We got the Biff and Martin Truex Jr. up front. Now remember, the first 2 cars will transfer up, but you don't want to have to rely on the fan votes, so going for 3rd and 2nd was pretty big time here.
Here comes a 56. Martin Truex says, hey, Biffle, you may be big time, but I'm bigger now. I'm riding high. I'm not afraid to die, and I will win this race. Martin Truex takes the lead.
On the outside, and that was a power move. Because Biffle's car, Biffle is an outside runner. He's one of those guys that finds that place, lets that car roll free. But I'm going to tell you, Truex made a power move. Great run for Michael Waltrip Racing and for Martin Truex and for these guys here.
Crew Chief Pat Tryson celebrating, but the Biff has reason to celebrate as well because those are your two transfer cars. They are in the show. They are positions number 19 and 20 right now, but we still have to figure out who is number 21 as Martin Truex gets the victory. But there he is. Carl Edwards got the fan vote, so there are your three transfer positions. And in no disrespect to anybody else in that field right there, but it just doesn't matter.
This is the big time. Jeff Burton said a couple weeks ago, I am embarrassed. We are better than this. We should be in the big race.
And let me tell you something. I've been in this race before. These are the guys that went home when it was still daylight. Okay?
Right.
And that's a bad thing to be leaving on All-Star Day when it's still daylight. I've done it a million times in my life.
And Juan Pablo Montoya finishing 27th. Again, is not indicative of what kind of weekend he had with the great practice session, great qualifying. Rex ends up at the back of the pack, but nonetheless, you guys are going for the top two positions here. And again, nothing else matters.
Only 20 laps this race was. There was no time to be calm. You had to go right away, Kyle.
Yeah, you know, you had 20 laps and then a caution and 20 laps and a caution. These guys had to go right away. And I think that was the deal with Juan. You know, Juan knew he had a fast car. Practice had been fast. Everything had been fast. And he was frustrated because he had to fight his way around those guys. And you saw those guys running 2 and 3 wide and just taking up time. And he thought it was taking up space. And, you know, you run out of patience, you run out of track, you run out of, next thing you know, you're running out the racetrack and going to McDonald's to eat before.
There was a little opportunity once we got to the big show, the 26 Sprint All-Star race. You could be a little bit patient, but not really. And Kurt Busch got it done the right way. Much more from Victory Lane in a moment. There have been 26 of these Sprint All-Star races. 25 of them have been run here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, known worldwide as the epicenter of NASCAR racing. It is a backyard brawl, and we saw it played out today with 4 segments of racing. Let's go back into the first 50-lap segment as the man, Michael Jordan, his airness, waved the green flag and started us underway by luck of just the draw. This is the way we qualified with Kurt Busch on the pole and Joey Logano up on row number 1, and we see some action going on right away.
And you know what, race fans? Our pole sitter ends up winning all this.
Whoa.
But for the second year in a row, Kyle Petty, Jeff Gordon bangs off the wall. He did the same thing last year.
And that's a hard hit right there. You see that thing bounce off the wall, and here he drives that thing down into turn 1, 3 wide. These guys were already 2 and 3 wide, 2 or 3 laps into the race.
I got to give a shout out to Jamie McMurray. Race fans, he is setting the nation on its ears. Just when he wins the Daytona 500, you're thinking he's not going to follow up. He's been in the top 5 every week.
Let's remember we're racing at Charlotte.
Yes.
Here comes the 48, KP.
Here's that old familiar, same old, same old. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, Jimmy did a great job. This car was on rails. He come to the front. He just drove past these guys. He didn't drive off from them. And that's the difference this time.
About midway through the first segment, the green flag pit stops, and you don't see this very often. Take a look at the front tire changer for the 48.
The front tire changer has a miner's hat on, meaning he can see, but it does not help.
Had a major problem.
Yeah, see the light on the top of his head? Now he's way behind. Cal, this takes him out of contention.
Yeah, once again, and we've said this at numerous races, these guys don't get beat, they beat themselves. That's something that beats you because he comes in leading and goes out not, and you see this right here.
These guys beating.
Yes,
beating and banging.
Beating and banging, and you know, they forced the 83. You got to feel a little bit sorry for Casey Mears right here. He's like, please, guys, just leave me alone. I'm just trying to fill in for Vickers here. They're running him up the racetrack, down the racetrack. It's like, get out of the way.
Now let's remember the Busch brothers have a history at this racetrack in this race, and here we see the Busch brothers doing battle door to door.
And at this point, we're getting ready to finish this segment. Now these segments pay a lot of money, and the 18th lets the 2 get on the, look here. Oh, and this is big money. So Kurt Busch is the winner of this segment.
Segment number 1 goes to Kurt Busch, but we still had a lot of racing left to go. Let's go up to segment number 2. Green flag waves again, and look who is up front. It is Mr. Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, now the difference between these segments is, remember, segment 1 was a 50-lap segment with a pit stop. This is a 20-lap segment, no pit stop. So these are the first adjustments these guys have had to make when they come in because they had time during that yellow period to make an adjustment.
Wreck number 1 for the number 2 car is coming up here. Look at Kurt Busch getting slide, gets up into Bruton's gold walls, and gets a little scrape going on.
Hey, I got to tell you something. Kurt Busch can drive a race car. He's sideways, he's off the wall. Sometimes he'll knock them old race cars out, and you cannot bring them back, but for the most part, he can hang on to the wheel. And more of the 48 leading.
End of segment number 2 coming here as Jimmy Johnson comes around and looks like he takes this one very easily with a big margin of victory. He's got his segment win already. And a little bit of chicanery going on. He acts like he's going to come down and pit, not mandatory to do it, and he stays out.
A lot of chicanery, but look who bid on this. The 2-team bid on this. And this was an opportunity for them to come down and try some stuff that I think they hoped would pay off in the next segment or the last segment.
Let's move on now to segment number 3, and it's going to be a little bit more of the 48 show, we are afraid to say, for some of the fans here. They got up and booed a little bit, but there were a lot of fans cheering as well for the 48 as he came to the front.
And look at the 48 get a bad start. Spins the tires, but here he goes back into turn 1, and he's wide open through the corner, wiggling the rear a little bit loose. There's Mark the Kid Martin. Where does Mark Martin come from, Kyle?
You know, Mark's won here on numerous occasions. This is a great place for him. He loves this racetrack. But, you know, I don't think I picked Mark when we were talking earlier today or any of that. But Mark was just hammered it right there in the top 4 or 5 all day long.
Once was not enough for Kurt Busch. He decided he's going to go up and hit Bruton's gold walls again.
And I'm going to tell you what. Look here. He's a bang, bang. Watch here. Oh, whoop, just a little bit of chicanery, as the new word of the night is. The 2-car banging off the wall. But check this lead out. The 48's like, is anybody going to race me tonight?
Yeah, and this was the biggest lead of the night. When you look at this, when we look at all the segments, and even the first 50-lap segment, he stretched out on Denny Hamlin here and was incredibly comfortable. He was trying things on the racetrack at this period of time. If you watch this, he was high, he was low, he was all over the racetrack.
And he was not afraid to die, riding high.
And as we noticed there, here we come.
In for the pit stops. Now this is big right now, guys, because this is going to have a lot to do with the pit crews to see who can get their driver out first, because we still have more pit action left to go as part of the twist of this race.
The 11 car won the pit crew championship on Thursday night. They get the number 1 pit. Will he win off a pit road? Let's watch. Let's watch. Oh,
yes,
got it.
And that's where that pit stop, and that's where what went on in the pit crew race and everything paid off for that team.
A big honor. 18 team was happy with their pit stop as well, but a big honor for that number 11 crew. They won the pit crew challenge, and therefore they had the first pit stall selection. Let's go now to segment number 4. This is the big one for the big money.
$1 million start the 1, gets into the 5. Let it play out. Let's. Whoop.
Oh, there goes Mark the Kid Martin.
Boom.
Into David Ruderman.
Bang.
Tony Stewart involved, 7 cars involved in all, and you see 3 of the Hendrick cars were involved in that as well, as Jeff Gordon, 24 in car now, as we see him beating and banging. And here comes, that is the number 5 of Mark Martin up the racetrack.
And these guys just come to the top of the racetrack, and it just takes everybody from the bottom to the top. 5 or 6 car involved in this. Look at Tony Stewart right here, and remember this, because here's Tony right in the middle of it, runs in the back of him, spins around, has to get going again. One of the cars involved, but he'll come back and be not a factor in this race, but have a decent finish.
Under the rules of this particular all-star race, the last 10 laps only count under green flag laps. So we technically did not complete a lap. We still have 10 to go.
And you see the 5 car, or the 2 car there. Now the 2 car starts 5th. He restarts this restart 5th on the inside. Before that, he was 7th or 8th in line.
Right now, I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. Jimmy Johnson has lost the lead. We are stunned. Hey, Denny Hamlin's going to win the race, right? Hold on, race fans. Hold your breath, because now we're door-to-door, handle-to-handle. $1 million. When your car gets loose, you don't let out.
So here we see Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch get into it, and afterwards, Denny Hamlin explained to us what happened.
Denny Hamlin just coming out of the trailer after a long meeting up there. And Denny, obviously, first, what happened on the racetrack between you and Kyle?
First he got a big run off the corner, and I was clear getting in the corner, and basically I just throttled up extremely early, and really it was a bad corner. He was going to go by me if he just, he kind of went to the bottom, then went up high. It looked like. Of course, I'm looking at my front windshield, and he says I'm clear, so I'm going to use all the racetrack I can. The problem is Kyle had a run to the outside, and with me moving up, getting real tight, it then took some air away from the front of his car. He slid up into the wall, so it's tough for me. We talked about it, and basically Kyle was just frustrated. It was, he felt like he had a really good car. Me, I just came from the back and with no practice and got back to the front where we needed to be, and I felt like if I gave up the lead right there, I was going to give up the win. So I don't think Kyle would do anything different if he was in my situation. It's just when you're the leader, my feeling is you've got the whole racetrack. If a guy is to the outside, then that's when you need to hold your line.
You and Kyle in the conversation with both Gibbs boys in there. I mean, did you guys finally come to an agreement of what happened up there?
It's a good conversation to have. Me and Tony has had the same conversation, and it was under a little bit different circumstances, but this is a good problem to have for our team. For two guys to be wanting to go for the win like they are, that's all we can ask for. Myself, I'm so confident that one of the two of us are going to win that 600 next weekend. It's it was a good meeting. Kyle was fire at the beginning and calmed right down at the end. So I think it's just kind of his personality, and me, I'm a little bit more reserved and kind of quiet about it, but I think it's just two guys, teammates that happen to be teammates going for a race win right there.
Positive, as he said, coming out of this is the fact that both Gibbs cars are good for the 600.
Should be no question about that, Bob. Let's go back to the racing action. The rest of this story was about Kurt Busch.
And out of nowhere, here he comes. Kurt Busch, Kyle Petty, takes the lead, and all of us said, what? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, but I want you to remember back. We talked about Kurt Busch getting into the wall. Where was he running when he got into the wall? On the high side, okay? Where does he go the last 10 laps of the race? To the yellow line, and he's making time. He makes incredible time through 3 and 4. When you look at him and the line he runs through 3 and 4, that's where he began to stretch it.
18 car finally ended up losing a tire, getting wrecked up, and that certainly did not help his mood at that time for being out of this race and no shot left to win.
Well, what was a shame about this is the 18's just going down the front straightaway. Here he comes. He says, I'm going down the straightaway. Boom, and he just gets into Casey Kane. Just ruins Casey Kane's night. Casey actually ran horrible. He ran last all night long, and the 18 of Kyle Busch put Casey Kane out of his misery. Now, here's the Kyle we know and love. Okay, let's
look how mad he is.
Oh, God.
Boom. Oh,
I love it. I love it.
Dude's car got a little dinged up in the process there. The restart here, green flag is out. And look at Kurt Busch going away again.
Now, this is the point in the race where if your car is loose, just let it spin out, because this is for $1 million. If you're loose, spin it out. So what?
And you saw the 2 car. The 2 car got a great restart, but just cut across the hood of that 48 and took that lower line. And you saw the 11 right there. He's right down on that 48. 48 got below the line coming off that line, or off the corner there. And when it knocks the wedge out of your car, that thing took off, man.
The final restart of the night here with Kurt Busch in the lead, and he was not to be denied this one. We came around, saw the white flag come out, and under NASCAR's rules, when the white flag does come out, this thing is over in all intents and purposes in terms of cautions coming out. But here comes the checkers. It is Kurt Busch getting his all-star victory. A million reasons to pump that fist. The second one for Roger Penske, and what a day it is for Penske Championship Racing as they get the Indy pole and the win in the All-Star event at Charlotte. Let's take a look at the results, and you know what? Again, no disrespect for anybody else on this list here, but the thing that matters here is that person in P1, and that is Kurt Busch.
And listen to this stat. 8 cars were knocked out. Only 13 cars finished this race.
Yeah, and this race is all about who wins. Everybody else is last place. It doesn't make any difference. See, Truex had a great first race comeback. In the big race, he finished his second. You also saw Tony Stewart, after being in that accident, come back and finish 5th.
Carl Edwards got the fan vote, but wasn't able to parlay that into any more than a 21st place finish. And the rest of those guys you see on that list had a little bit of trouble along the way. There is the winning number 2 car, and the driver of that 2 car will join us on Victory Lane in just a moment. It's one of the most special nights on the Sprint Cup schedule. We are in Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, after the 26th running of the Sprint All-Star race, and after 9 tries, it is Kurt Busch that is in Victory Lane with a million reasons to celebrate. And Kurt, that car, that car must have been a tank to bounce off the wall like that and still get better as the night wore on.
Man, it was a rough third segment for us. I felt like when we made the change on the car, which we didn't change anything, it was just 2 right side tires, the car got way tight. I mean, it wouldn't drive in, it wouldn't drive through the center, and here I am trying to keep pace and not fall back too far, because I felt like you had to be 6th or 8th. That's about as far back as you could be when the final segment started. And the last segment, I said to Steve Addington, I said, man, this tank won't turn. Just do whatever. You know, and I said, just free it up. If we spin out going for it, we know we at least made a change to make the car better. But it was a rocket ship. I mean, this car was money on that last 10-lap run.
Kyle, we have a restart here. Now, this is the money start. Tell us about this. What are you thinking?
Well, I felt like I had Logano on my inside, and I'm like, you know, this guy doesn't have too much experience. I can give him a softball right on the restart zone, and boom, I took advantage of him and pulled away. The restart before that was the rough one. When I had Jimmy Johnson on my inside, I spun my tires. I got pushed by Hamlin, and I was just wheeling that thing going down into turn one, not lifting and not caring if anybody was going to be on my outside. This was the tough one where I felt like I didn't get a good restart.
Now, are you wide open? Are you lifting off the
wide open all the way down, hit the bottom, wide open, check up right here, and then mat it again.
Awesome.
And you just drive off. Car got a little wiggle loose there, but man, I didn't realize I was that far ahead. I thought those guys were right on my bumper at that point.
Wait a minute, you mean you would take advantage of a young rookie driver like that?
No. He's not a rookie. He's not a rookie.
Here's what I want to know. We watched the highlights from the first segment, the second, and the third segment. You're up next to the wall, you're sideways, you're backwards, you're ricocheting off, and we get to this last segment, and you find that yellow line. What was the big difference? I mean, did y'all change anything in that deal, or did it just, like you said he freed it up. Did that make that big a difference?
Yeah, I felt like the top line was the conservative line most of the night, and I could keep my momentum up, keep the speed up there. And the car was a little on the tight side, and it wouldn't roll the center of 3 and 4. This end of that racetrack is much tighter than 1 and 2. And once we got it freed up, it made it busy down there, but it was so fast through 3 and 4, it just wanted to hover over that white line. And I've watched guys like Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, all the big names win the races here in the All-Star race running the bottom.
Yeah, when you go back and you watch some of these replays of you in this last 10 laps, I want you to look how fast you are through 3 and 4 on the bottom. You stretched it on the 48 car, you stretched it on the 11. Every time there was a restart, you would put 3 or 4 car lengths. That was amazing.
The Miller Lite Vortex Dodge was money in 3 and 4. I had to work hard in 1 and 2. So when you're loose down there, it makes for a better night down in 3 and 4. But all in all, just a great night for my pit stop guys. We came in running 10th after the third segment, bumped up to 8th. So we gained 2 spots just doing that 4-tire stop. And then when all heck broke loose on one of those restarts at the end with Kyle and Denny, I was passing Jimmy Johnson. The car just went like 5th to 1st in 1 lap. It was money.
Well, you tore the Vortex off the right side.
Yeah, let's look at the left side.
That's a whole nother story.
Hey, Kurt, granted, this is not a points-paying event. It's a big money-paying event. But a lot of guys have taken the fact that they beat the best of the best on one night and really, parlayed it into a great rest of the season.
Yeah, I think tonight was a great statement from our team. We held off Jimmy Johnson. Hamlin was in the mix. Those 2 guys have won the most races so far this year. Martin Truex Jr., who won the Open, gets in. Guys that win the Open are little snakes in the grass. They can jump up and win this bad boy. So I felt like tonight was a great night, especially because we had a foreign setup in the car. This is something we haven't normally run, and now it's going to make us think a little bit more about what we should do going into the 600 and off into Pocono, Michigan, and the rest of the summer.
Kurt, we have created a tradition here on NASCAR Victory Lane for this All-Star race. I know all drivers are honored to have a ring. So here we go. This is really nice. Congratulations.
Wow, check it out.
And hopefully you'll be
Did you just propose to me?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. My man,
Hey,
that's
how
good.
about that?
That's good.
Hey, first of all,
Thank you,
If
Kenny.
Kenny got
Can I
down
ask you
on one knee, this would be really bad.
do you accept the $1 million ring?
I will take this $1 million. We'll buy a $1 million Miller Lite, right?
Looks good on
That's good, man.
Congratulations, Kurt. You got
Congratulations.
1 million reasons to celebrate, and a great job tonight by you and the team.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. It was
Congratulations.
on speed tonight. Heck yeah.
That is your Sprint All-Star winner, Kurt Busch. When we come back, the captain himself, Roger Penske, will come by and join us. Each week here on NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, one lucky fan will receive a Sunoco checkered flag autographed by the winner of the race. Enter online at speedtv.com. Keyword Sunoco to win this flag that Kurt Busch did sign tonight a moment ago. And look, there's a little bit of, marks, battle scars on the side of the number 2. Now, even the best laid plans of mice and men don't never necessarily work out. We planned on having Roger Penske here, but he's had a big day, man. He's been all over the place, so he took off. Congratulations to the captain. Wish we could have wished you congratulations in person, but, now we got to look back at this race and see exactly what has transpired tonight. And the big thing is, Kyle mentioned it before, The first race is all about that guy that wins it and the guys that transfer up. The second race is simply about the guy who won it.
Yeah, and that's the way it is. You know, you look at that and you say, okay, the 16 and the 56, and then Carl Edwards voted out of the first. So there's a little bit of drama there. When it's all said and done, when you look over there, there's everybody from second place back goes home a loser because there's no points, nothing gained, no advantage, no anything. This team took $1 million home, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a big night to walk out of here. I walked out of here in second place one time. Biggest loser in the world.
Stop it.
Biggest loser in the world. And because that's the way you feel. That's the way you feel because this is not about the points.
But you know what I like to say about this race fans? There's always a storyline that makes sense. Last year, Tony Stewart, my first year as a car owner, he wins the race. What a storyline for us. And then this year, here we come back. Hey, guess what? Roger Penske won the pole at the Indy 500. He comes down here, and his driver wins the race. It seems like there's always a great storyline for this big race.
And one of the greatest storylines for the number 2 team is the fact that they took home the big prize in the $1 million. And as Kurt Busch told us just a moment ago, this can be big-time momentum for the rest of the season because now your crew knows that you can beat the best of the best on any given night in any kind of a format. We're going to take a quick break here. We want to remind you that tomorrow we got a big show coming your way. Live from Charlotte, North Carolina. Don't miss an epic television event for the ages when Bill France Sr., Bill France Jr., Richard Petty, Junior Johnson, and Dale Earnhardt rightfully take their place as the first inductees of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Live coverage is exclusively on Speed. Well, the 26th Sprint All-Star Race is in the history books, and it's Kurt Busch who grabbed him a little bit of history along with $1 million along the way. Now, there'll still be a lot of happy people tomorrow with that Hall of Fame induction ceremony and a lot of celebration going on among these two guys and other guys along the way who had a great run. Now, Martin Truex has reason to celebrate as well as he finished P2. Even though that's the first loser, it's still a big night for Martin Truex and company.
Not a shabby day for Martin Truex Jr. He's standing tall here and almost came away with the double.
Almost. I can smell that cool million at the end, I'm telling you what, boy. But a good day for us, you know, to come here and not even be in the show. You know, it's a lot of fun for these guys to get them in there. I was real proud just to get them in the race. And then to go on and run like that, it was really good. We just struggled with track position all night. It was just like the Open. Once we got there, we were really good. And the same tonight, just got there a little bit too late. But it was a lot of fun, and these guys did a good job on pit road, did a good job adjusting on the car throughout the day from the Open to, you know, throughout all our segments. And right there, that last 10-lap deal, I felt like we were really, really good. Just ran out of time. So a lot of fun today.
What were you thinking when you saw the blue deuce out in front of you with about 1 to go?
I was thinking if I could just get to his bumper. That's all I was, you know, that's all I could think of. But too little, too late. But like I said, it was good. It was a lot of fun for us, and we felt good coming here at the test a few weeks ago. We learned a lot that's helped us the last month or so, and I feel good coming back here for the 600 next week. So just keep working on it, keep plugging away, and these guys continue to, you know, do a great job on the Napa Toyota, and hopefully next weekend we'll do one spot better.
Look out, Truex could be good next week.
You know, it's so much about confidence here, and how much confidence does that give a guy? I know Kyle just said a minute ago he felt like the world's biggest loser, finishing second. But when you got a team like that that's new, they're just getting together, they're trying to figure each other out, and here they are having a great run at a place like this. This is tough, again, against the best of the best.
Everybody has different goals. You have to think that the new team of Michael Waltrip with Martin Truex. Martin Truex, brand new driver this year. He's thinking, oh, man, if we can just make, you know, the big race. Well, heck, he wins the Showdown. Hey, yeah, we won the Showdown. And now we won, you know, we won second. And Dick Trickle taught me that. Sometimes you win positions. So, look, they're going home really happy tonight. They could have wrecked out in the Showdown race. So the big success for Martin Truex.
Yeah, and you know, I think when you look at Martin and look at individual teams like that, sometimes you look at him and you say, okay, you know, Jimmy's got to be leaving here saying, okay, we had a pit stop, got us back, we got ourselves back up, spun coming off, I gave this thing away. You know what I mean? I took myself out of contention. You take a Martin Truex who says, I raced my way into it. He's very proud of that. You know what I mean? Raced my way into it, and then put ourselves in position so when they come back on the 600, their confidence is going to be extremely high. Jimmy's confidence is going to say, okay, we've just got to correct our mistakes. Not that his confidence is any higher or any lower. We got to correct our mistakes. But this is a team that's going to come in and roll in on a little bit of momentum and a little bit of confidence.
Well, after all the work that was done tonight, somebody's earned themselves a little vacation, but then they got to come back and get ready for the Coke 600 at Charlotte, and that's going to be a big one. But also, Friday night, the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series races live on Speed in the Outlaws Showdown from Charlotte. It's the greatest show on dirt. Don't miss the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series from Charlotte live Friday night at 8 Eastern only on Speed. Next Friday night, our Friday night trackside party packs up and heads to Uptown Charlotte for their annual visit to Speed Street. Steve, Jeff, Larry, and DW welcome the Biff, Brad Keselowski, and Richard Childress to the stage for trackside from Speed Street next Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern only on Speed. You know, I've always wondered, when they get those big old checks like that, how they fit them in the drive-through drawer at the bank. They just don't. They must have to take them inside.
You got to carry them inside the bank and go, hey, cash my check.
And you got to sign it really big on the back.
Like this.
So what you're saying is, if you had $1 million check, you would complain about it.
Oh, no, I'm not complaining.
Silly Willie.
I'm sorry.
I just wondered.
I'm sorry. I was just checking.
I wouldn't be the drive-thru, but I'd gladly walk in if I got the $1 million. You know, Joe Gibbs Racing, surprisingly enough, has never gotten the $1 million here at the All-Star Race in Charlotte. But they look like they were very close tonight. And we saw the reason why you stick around to the end of one of these races. It looked like a JGR kind of night, but it didn't happen. And one of the guys it didn't happen for was Joey Logano. Let's go to Bob Dillner.
Wild and woolly, that was the finish, and we knew it was going to be that way. How crazy was it for you, Joey?
It was crazy, I promise you that. I'm disappointed with third. You know, I felt like I had a car that could win, and just came up short. You know, I feel like we had that longer, well, I'm going to call it a longer run. It was the last 10 laps, so we had 7 or 8 laps green, and I was running down to 48 and into 2. I was like, man, we're going to run out of time. This stinks. We got the car that can do it. Got the caution. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to win this thing. You know, I was totally convinced I got this. And, you know, went down into the first green-white checker and plowed the nose, went up the racetrack, lost 6-7 spots. I got lucky. The caution came out and went to the last completed lap with the shootout rules. So I got lucky. I said, all right, I got another shot at this. I said, I'm not going to drive it in the turn too hard and plow the nose like I did last time. So I put it in there easy and tried to pick up the gas hard early, and I just lost too much momentum going in there too easy and making sure I didn't do the same thing twice. But I don't know why we plowed. I guess maybe had some stuff on the tires or something. But it stinks, man. All the guys did what they had to do. I got to thank Home Depot and you know, all the guys that support us here. But it's tough, man. You feel like you're so close to winning it, and you know, you come home third. It's disappointing. But last year I'd been ecstatic with this, so that's a good thing.
You know, wondering about that one restart there, you know, with Mark Martin and everybody playing bumper cars. What happened there?
Man, I got a run on the 48, and I was trying not to. You can't pass him. You can't cross under his bumper before you cross start finish line. So I was trying to time my run basically, and I got underneath him, and he started pinching me to the inside, and I had to start coming out of the gas because it was going to be in the grass and knock my fender. So I started coming out, just got my left sides, and it knocked me sideways, and I checked up, and you know, I feel like it was a little bit my fault, and you know, I think it's probably both of our faults a little bit. That I mean, you got to expect it, you know. I mean, it's the All-Star race, and I was going for it as much as I can, and he was trying to protect everything he had, and yeah, it just happens. I mean, I'm sorry to all the guys that got in the wreck. I mean, that stinks, but I mean, we gave it a shot. We tried hard.
Logano, a little frustrated. You got to like that about him.
I know it's late and this is a crazy race and everything, but who's doing the cartwheels behind Joey Logano? I just wonder what the heck was. But, you know, Joey echoed exactly what Kyle said a moment ago. You know, you either win this thing or it's just not cool. There's only one position to finish in here.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. You hear Joey stand there, and it's a young man, young driver, and he's standing there, and he's trying to explain what happened on each restart. And as he's explaining it, he's thinking about it. He's thinking about, well, I could have done this or I could have done that. I'm going here, I'm going there. And he explained it very well. And you know, he just put himself in a bad position with the 48, shot back up the racetrack. Like he said, it's an all-star race, man. That's part of it. The great Juan Pablo Montoya. What's his quote?
Juan Pablo Montoya. So I wrecked you. Get over it.
Exactly.
But you know what? I tell you what. You know, one thing that is consistent about any good race car driver is that, you know, I wanted to win. Here's what happened. I mean, you know, that's the new deal. You know, second is the first loser, but not all the time. I don't totally agree with that. I mean, you look at Martin Truex tonight, but here's a young man who hangs out at the mall up here with my kids. You know, he's like 19, 20 years old, and I think that's one thing we all have to remember You know, Jeff Gordon came in here at 19 years old in the Nationwide Series and won the race. So, you know, we're here in Concord. There's a mall nearby, and then when I see Joey being interviewed, I'm just wondering if Brandon McReynolds and all these girls, you can find them on any night up here at the mall, hanging out, going to the movies. The kid's not even got any, you know, what has he got? Peach fuzz on his face. He's way ahead of the game, race fans.
Kenny, we got scars that are older than Joey Logano.
Hey, watch this. Give me a high five. Woo! How'd you like that commentary, race
We should
fans?
never do this race this late at night. It's real trouble, or this early in the morning. Anyway, Monday night Speed Primetime is a must-see TV with NASCAR Race Hub presented by Hooters, Ultimate Factories, and Fast Track to Fame. It all begins Monday night at 7:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
NASCAR Victory Lane is fueled by Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR. Put the fuel of NASCAR in your car. Brought to you in part by Cici's Pizza, home of the endless pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert buffet. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Well, this all-star race gives drivers butterflies and makes fans weak in the knees, but the Coke 600 is NASCAR's equivalent to the marathon. Now, you might not be into running a marathon, but we saw a marathon and a half last year as we saw Buzzy's boy, Rudy Rudeman, win this thing, but it took 2 days to do it.
David Rudeman. I mean, it rained for 2-3 weeks, then days, and then he finally wins it. Congratulations, David
And
Rudeman.
Kyle got to go fishing in the infield because it made it a big lake.
It should have made it a big lake. And it did. I mean, that was incredible because it rains, it stops, it rains, it stops, it rains. And they just made a great call, you know what I mean? And you look at it, and you know, we had the burnout and some of the things that they were doing, and he was like, he never got a chance to because it was raining, and they were in the garage area. So it was pretty cool to see him do
He'll get his chance.
Yeah,
David Rudeman will get his chance to do a real burnout probably very soon.
Well, it's going to be a big week next week. We have everything on Speed, the Hall of Fame tomorrow. I'm excited. Are you excited? Come on back. Hey, it's another day. I'm
excited about tomorrow.
It's Hall of Fame day. What are you talking about? It is already Hall of Fame day.
You got your speech? Oh, yeah. Wait, tomorrow.
I got to deliver that speech in about 12 hours. In about 12 hours. It's 12:30.
Well, we're going to help Kyle write his speech for the Hall of Fame tomorrow. You better tune in to Speed because we got exclusive coverage of what's going to be a great ceremony, and want to thank everybody for coming along for the ride and joining us for this 26th version of the Sprint All-Star Race. Only thing that's left is a few lug nuts and a check for $1 million and a lot of confetti. Congratulations to Kurt Busch and the number 2 team, Roger Penske. Now let's take a look in the rearview mirror.